And we are live.
Welcome to the Fantasmagorium. On today's show, Teen Titans gets a season 3, Manga, and the last of the trilogy from the past, 1666.
Interesting.
Hey, Steve, I have been on methadone since noon. How are you?
I'm good. It sounds like you're doing well. I was going to say, how are you? But it sounds like you're doing well.
I don't even know what methadone is. I just know they have clinics.
They do.
So I had some thoughts.
Okay.
And I wanted, and I know that I've already offended so many people with my meth comment. I don't. I wanted to talk about the state of our show.
Okay. Let's do that.
Okay. I saw the season finale of Loki.
I did too.
And I was reflecting back on people's opinions of the first episode of Loki, and I was thinking about how much that I love this show and how much I like it as a complete season.
Okay.
And moving forward, and just so that everyone who is watching knows about it, like, you have to know the entire story before you can criticize it and the journey towards enjoying something.
I agree with that.
Do you agree?
I do. I think so often we're, people want to jump. Look, we can only critique what we see, right? So critiquing an episode, as long as you go into your critique knowing that you don't know what's going to happen over the next 6, 9, 12 episodes, as long as you go in with that kind of attitude, I think you're doing yourself a service, right? It's when you just start tearing these things all apart, when you have no idea where they're going with the story, you don't know how they're going to tie things up at the end, or if they're going to tie things up at the end. So it is a little frustrating when we see that happening in fandom. It's always going to be there. I think what you're getting at is we want to be a show that talks about things that we love. We want to be able to critique shows either singly or on the whole as a series. Be able to critique, have disagreements when they come up, passionate disagreements if they come up. But always be respectful. And I think, listen, I think we want to distinguish ourselves in that way that look, it's easy to hate on stuff. It's easy to start picking stuff apart. It's hard to make things. And it's hard to really like things. It's easy to say, oh, that just sucks. And then that's it. It's harder.
Yeah.
It's harder to articulate why you like something, right? So it is kind of the easier road to hoe, and then I guess on the other side, people will say, "Oh, you guys are just milquetoast. You like everything," and I don't think that's the case.
I don't think so either.
And in particular, in the case of Loki, I did not care for this season as a whole. I thought it was very up and down, and I was a little disappointed by the season finale. So.
You're wrong.
And that's okay to be wrong. Because it's my opinion.
Then your opinion can't be wrong. It's your opinion.
Right. And I think that's hopefully that's what distinguishes our show. But I think you're right. I think it was great. It's good to kind of let the audience know where we're coming from, kind of in a mission statement, for lack of a better term, for what the show is. Well,
do you like Lord of the Rings?
I do.
Well, you're wrong. Do you like Star Trek?
I do.
Well, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Do you like Star Wars?
I do. I do not like the new Star Trek though. And I'm right.
Well, you're right. Then
Yeah.
You're right. The thing is, and I suppose why I'm clumsily tripping over what I wanted to say, is that it is fine to like or dislike things and have a conversation surrounding it without deciding to put up barriers and sandbags and
right. And I agree with that. The thing is, it doesn't have to be my side against your side. It doesn't have to be tribal. I mean, we get enough of that in every other aspect of our lives right now, especially in politics, even in fandom. It's, DC versus Marvel. It's I don't know, the Star Wars fandom is split in half, and everything seems so tribal. And it doesn't have to be. Let's have nuanced conversations about things that we like, things that we didn't find, that met our standard, or things that hit us in the wrong way. But we can still have those conversations and be respectful. Scott and I were kind of discussing this yesterday offline, and it reminded me of like the show that we're trying to do here on the Fantasmagorium is basically a 2008 2010 kind of before all of this thing kind of got started and chugging along, and then got really bifurcated into these tribal groups. This is the kind of show that we would have done in 2008, a couple of regular fans getting together and talking about stuff that we think is cool or fun and entertainment that we like. Give the rundown of the day, give our opinions, and hopefully people come along for the ride.
Yeah, and I appreciate everyone who has subscribed and who does watch our show. I enjoy it. Steve and I really enjoy talking to each other about this stuff for you, and we hope that you guys will watch and enjoy. But please know, like, I don't want to use the term safe space because it's not. I'm gonna say fuck.
Right. And I'm not going to agree with everything either, right?
Well, I've told you you're wrong several times in the last 10 minutes.
You have. And, of course you're wrong when you say that. But
everybody
that's the
knows best
that.
Part.
That is the best part. So hopefully that kind of gives the audience kind of a mission statement from the Fantasmagorium show. And Scott and Steve are I hate using myself in the third person, but we really want to give you a show that's more uplifting, and I'm not talking about just uplifting, but we want to give you a show that's not tribal and like you'll never hear us go after or bash any other YouTubers. That's not what this channel is here for. We're here to talk about stuff we like, things that we wish were better, maybe even made better, or story points that could be better. So that's kind of where we're coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry to jump ahead in the chat, but Todd Michael, my microaggressions are growing. They may become macro.
Okay, but before we move on to the real show today,
yes,
let's do a little bit of housekeeping. We do that. We say this every day. We're going to
clean up this place.
We're going to pound it into your head as much as we can. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, do all of those things. We always say subscriptions are great. We love subscriptions, but liking, sharing, and especially sharing and commenting, those interactions really help the channel grow. It helps you out, get into the algorithm, and it really helps expand our show. So if you like, share, and comment, we really appreciate it. With that out of the way, if you'd like to send us a tip along with your question or comment, we would really appreciate it. We're trying to make this show a little better, get some graphics and music, things like that'll kind of make your viewing a little bit more pleasurable. So if you would send us a tip, you can do so at www.streamelements.com/Fantasmagorium-show/tip. Also, we have our own website where we post all of our shows, some of our short clips, and there's also a link to our audio-only podcast page. There you'll find all of our episodes in podcast form, and audio-only podcast form, and you can do so by visiting www.phantasmagoriumshow.com. And with that done, Scotty, why don't we jump right into the news of the day? Unless you have anything else.
No, I'm really, that was great. Let's go. Suicide Squad.
So So this dropped today. The Suicide Squad. Let me get that correct.
I'm sorry, I do that all the time. I misremember them.
Yeah, the Suicide Squad, the new one coming out. Tickets did go on sale today. So if you want to get your tickets for the Suicide Squad, go to your favorite Atom Tickets or Fandango or however you buy tickets. They're on
no,
sale
don't do
now.
Fandango. Also, we're not sponsored.
Yeah, we're not sponsored. Sponsor us, please.
Yeah, please. If you're out there and you have money, give.
Our first actual news item. This dropped last night. I wanted to bring up because this sounds pretty cool. Star Wars: The Mandalorian special, focusing on Luke Skywalker's return, was announced for Disney Plus. Disney Plus will release a special episode of the Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian. Basically, those are the behind the scenes. The first one was like 8 episodes after the season 1. Season 2 was like a longer 1 episode, but it looks like they're going to do a special digging into the reaction to Star Wars: The Mandalorian second season finale. The episode titled Chapter 16, The Rescue, including a shocking surprise appearance by young Luke Skywalker. Obviously,
spoilers for the Mandalorian.
Spoilers for everybody who's watching this show has seen that for sure. So that looks very interesting. It says, according to Disney's press release, Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian, making of the season 2 finale special episode, is a behind-the-scenes look at the making of this celebrated chapter of The Mandalorian, with a focus on the technology used for creating Luke Skywalker. It delves into the collaborative process, including working with Mark Hamill to create an authentic and fitting recreation, and explores the immense pressure and responsibility of the filmmakers had in bringing back one of the most important characters in film history. Now, when I saw this yesterday, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm in. This is this one is perfect for me." First of all, I love behind the scenes. I'm really into the whole to the LED green screen replacement aspect of the volume, the technical side. So I have a personal interest in that. Plus, I'm a huge Luke Skywalker fan, who most of us Star Wars fans are, I think. So this one got me right away. So we'll be looking for that. It actually is going to debut on Disney Plus on August 25th.
Wow. Okay.
What is this? Does this news do anything for you, Scotty? I know you're not the biggest Star Wars fan nowadays.
Well, and as we have spoken, I've kind of broken up with Star Wars, but I am waiting for Star Wars to show up on my door and be entertaining again. And I will pore over all of the Star Wars until that happens. And so even the behind the scenes of recreating Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker, the collaboration that occurred at the end of The Mandalorian is fantastic. I think one of the reasons why I advocate physical media so much is part of the reason that I fell in love with DVD in the first place was commentary tracks and behind the scenes documentaries.
Sure.
And so this is exciting, and it does spark interest.
Yeah. I was very interested. So look for that. That's coming to Disney Plus on August 25th, like we said, and we'll see some behind the scenes making of, which is pretty cool. Next,
which is very cool.
Yeah. So next, we're going to jump from Star Wars to Star Trek. The next Star Trek film to be directed by WandaVision's Matt Shakman. This caught me by surprise because we know that there's been rumors about Tarantino directing a Star Trek film that kind of got shuffled away, and then we heard that Noah Hawley of Legion and Fargo fame was going to write and direct a Star Wars film. That really piqued my interest. I'm a huge Noah Hawley fan. I was really interested when he was rumored to be doing a Doctor Doom movie, which for Fox, which I thought would have been awesome. So this comes to us from Deadline. This is a Deadline exclusive. After orchestrating the Marvel Disney Plus series WandaVision to a 23 Emmy nomination haul, Matt Shakman has made a deal to direct the next untitled Star Trek film for Paramount and Bad Robot's J.J. Abrams. Deadline hears the film will now move at warp speed to begin production next spring. They have a script by Lindsay Beer and Geneva Robertson Duarte. Sorry for butchering your name. This is significant in that it's the first Star Trek film to be written by female screenwriters. That's cool. Recent attempts at scripting Trek films were done by The Revenant's Mark L. Smith for Quentin Tarantino and another by Noah Hawley, obviously. So for me, Scotty, if I may jump in, this sounds pretty interesting. I loved WandaVision. I think Matt's approach to WandaVision, the series, was awesome. I think he really took the care and time to bring his vision to life. You know, so I do think I like this move for him to come over to the Star Trek universe. I'm a little weary of all of the J.J. Abrams produced Star Trek stuff, all the Bad Robot Star Trek stuff. Nothing has blown me away yet. I think we've talked about this before. Out of the three main films, it's Beyond, I think, is the best one, and that's the one I think the least amount of people watched. But on the whole, this, it looks like they wanted to make a pivot at Paramount, wanted to kind of pivot away from that kind of storytelling. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with this new untitled Star Trek film, and to see if Noah Hawley is out completely, or if he's going to be developing a Star Trek film as well, and maybe a new trilogy. I guess that all remains to be seen. How does this hit you, and where do you stand on this news?
Well, the announcement of Matt Shakman being a director of the next Star Trek film, that excites me. I am super jazzed because I loved WandaVision, and I think that it had a visual flair in terms of capturing sitcoms throughout the ages. And so I think that, hey, if you're going to get a director who can capture the feel of things gone past, then he has proven himself to be good at it. In terms of this announcement, though, I don't like the revisionist history of the first female screenwriters of a Star Trek, because it kind of erases DC Fontana.
I was going to bring that up.
And so I find that to be a little bit disrespectful. It is accurate in the fact that it is the first film written by a female.
Well, and that's what
one of the founding.
No, you're right. It does say Star Trek film to be written. It doesn't just say script. Okay.
And so I understand that, but one of the founding mothers of Star Trek was a woman, and one of the most prolific fans of Star Trek was a woman named Bijo Trimble.
Yeah.
And so I don't like it when these announcements show up and they say this is the first time this has happened.
I don't either, Scott. I agree with you 100%. And I think we live in this weird age right now where everything's firsts. Everything has to be a first, even if it's true or not. It doesn't even have to be true, but they'll say, "Oh, this is the first time. Everything has to be a first." Like that's some kind of huge milestone. I'm
a big fan of carrying the torch.
Yes. In some cases it is, but it presumes that women have not been involved in Star Trek up to said point, which is just not the case.
Well,
that's kind of neither here nor there.
Well, no,
let
but
that
it's
go.
just it's something in terms of the press release that gives me pause. But I am a fan of WandaVision. I am a fan of Star Trek, and I'm looking forward to Matt Shakman making that happen. And I look forward to the script by Lindsay and Geneva.
Yeah, me too.
Like, all I want is good Star Trek, dude.
Yeah.
I lay awake at night being like, can I have some new Star Trek that's good?
So I do think this is for the script. I think this is a maiden voyage for both in this realm and at this level. So that gives me a little pause too. And I would say that about anybody, man, woman, alien, child, doesn't matter. If it's your first time out, it's not that it can't be done. It happens a lot, but that also gives me a little pause. But what I'm really excited about is
well, we have
Shakman.
a bad robot. There's a bad robot on the table.
Right. There is a bad robot on the table. But Matt's addition to Star Trek can only be good news, at least for now. We'll see how long this lasts. It seems like they have a little trouble getting their Star Trek house in order over there. So we'll see.
This isn't my fault. You brought up Star Trek, so I'm going to start talking about Star Trek.
Let's do it.
So you know who directed Star Trek: The Motion Picture?
I do not.
Robert Wise, the same guy who made the Earth, When the Earth Stood Still.
That's
and
right.
he also directed West Side Story. The man was a visionary genius. Was he a nerd? No. He was an artist who made a Star Trek movie because they wanted the best visual storyteller. And I think that Matt Shakman is a great, based on what I've seen in WandaVision, I think he's a great visual storyteller. I am looking forward to finding out whether or not Lindsay and Geneva are, just as good as telling a Star Trek story.
Yeah, me too. And I just, like you said, I just want these things to be good. Just make good stories, good movies, so we can go and shovel popcorn into our face and have a good time.
I want to buy the DVD. I want to buy the 4K. I want to get I want to buy toys. I want new ships. And until you do that, I am just a poor boy with old ships.
Yeah. We need new ships? Is that what you're saying? You just need some new ships.
I just need new ships.
Okay. Hey, Ben, I'm down. I'm right there with you. We'll move on from that. If we want to come back to Star Trek, we can. In that, when we get to the comments, I'm sure we're gonna get there. So another cool thing happened for people like me who actually, I know we're in the minority, but that actually like the Titans TV show on HBO Max, formerly DC. They dropped their official trailer for season 3, and let's just pop it on and see what they have in store for us for season 3. Okay.
How do I not know about this show?
That's what I'm saying,
The only thing I know about this show is when people were making fun of it and being like, when Dick Grayson showed up and said, fuck Batman. That's the only thing I know about it, and so I never paid attention to it. But that looks awesome. Was there a Superboy in there?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's real. It's good. It's not Doom Patrol good, but it's a decent show. It's worth a watch, man, for sure.
It clearly doesn't have Timothy Dalton.
When you come after family, they'll show no mercy. #Titans. Stream season 3 of Titans on August 12th, only on HBO Max. So it's I like the show probably more than I should. to tell you the truth, but it is.
You're
good.
fine. You're fine.
It is good, and there's some really cool stuff going on in there. I can't wait to dive in. In fact, I might give a cursory walk through some of the episodes of season 2 just to get a little refresher going. And we'll look forward to that. August 12th. It's coming up, less than a month away. So, yay for Titans. I'm looking. Get on it, man. You're streaming right now on HBO Max. You got season 1 and 2. So it's about 20 episodes.
we were talking about the unfortunate cancellation of shows that are good, specifically with the other show that you liked that got canceled. What's it called?
Oh, I don't know. There's been several.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
And this is one that it's like, there's a season 3? Okay.
Yeah.
Then, binge. Go.
Do the stuffs.
Do all the things.
Do all the things. Go watch.
Oh,
go watch Titans.
Go watch Titans. That's good advice for me.
Right. Okay. With that down, let's get to the meat of the meat of the episode. So
I gotta grab
sales,
a knife and fork. Tell me a story.
Manga sales hit all-time high stateside in 2020. Last year had been challenging for industries across the world, but some have thrived amidst the pandemic.
Yeah.
If you don't know, manga did very well during 2020 as billions were staying at home and eager to read something new.
Steve, what is manga?
Manga, Japanese anime.
But printed.
Printed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And thank you, because I probably should have led with that. Manga's been up and down over the past 2 decades, right? I think 2012 was a huge year. Manga came back and kind of whipped comic books ass, and then it had a little bit of a lull for a while, but it's steadily gaining over the past 10 years, culminating pretty much in this last year that it's just dominating American comic books.
I don't mean to interrupt, but don't call it a comeback. It's been here for years.
It's been here for years. This kind of that's a story. What basically I put on the list to dovetail into another story, bigger story, which is prolific. I can't
prolific.
Talk thank you. Prolific Batman writer Chuck Dixon explains why manga is wiping the floor with American comics. Chuck Dixon awesome runs on several different comic books. One of the best of his best was Batman, obviously. Instead of reading this, why don't we just hear from the man himself?
Hey, Chuck Dixon, can you meet me at camera 2?
Yeah, yes, I think he can.
Ricardo Garcia. Question: what is your theory, thoughts on why manga is wiping the floor with American comics? It's not too hard to figure out, really. There's a lot of dedication, passion, and craft in manga comics, and that's missing almost entirely from the big two. Marvel and DC still run the store here. They still are the market leaders, and unfortunately, there's no variety there. There's nothing really different. There's not something for everybody the way there is in manga. It's not hard to see. The artwork is attractive, it's different, it's engaging, it's interesting, it's varied. So there's a lot of reasons to like manga. Not a whole lot of reasons to like what's out now, because what's out now from the big two is, for the most part, poorly crafted. There's a few exceptions, but for the most part, it's poorly crafted, poorly conceived. There's an obvious political agenda to everything. And there's no variety. I mean, in Japanese manga, there's golf comics. There's not one comic about golf. There's multiple comics about golf. And I've made reference, on these videos to one of my favorite mangas, which is about fishing. It's just about fishing. It's not about vampires fishing on another planet or, witches fishing, or fishing after a zombie apocalypse. This is about guys fishing. Surf casting and whatever, fishing from boats, fishing on the shore, fishing from the banks of rivers. And the stories are fascinating and beautifully drawn and beautifully realized. But here, what do we get? We get superheroes and poorly done superheroes. And there really isn't anything else at the mainstream companies. It's superheroes. And they're all avatars for the writers' political agenda. And they're kind of tiresome. They're not particularly well drawn. They're not particularly well realized. Why would you want to read this crap if you had a choice of reading a genre that you prefer, be it horror or mystery or, espionage or golf? I mean, when there's only one flavor in American comics, of course Japanese comics are going to win the day. And the biggest problem here is that all I see American comic book creators, the people in the mainstream, do is complain about manga. Mm-hmm. Well, why don't you learn from manga? Why don't you look at what manga is doing and do that? And I don't mean draw people with huge eyes and lots of speed lines. I mean, do more varied stories, do more complex stories, put more effort into the artwork, put more effort into the craft. Change the format, for God's sakes. Stop doing the little folio comics and look at what manga does. These big fat telephone books, comics released weekly, things like that. Just change the formula. Look what manga is doing. Why is manga successful? Try to copy that. Of course, if they tried to copy it just like they did in the 90s here in the United States, they just get it all wrong. They don't know what they're doing. And they have no interest. They're just going to complain about it, as if that's going to get them any more readers. So it's sad. It's a sad state of affairs, but everybody saw it coming. It had to happen. There has to be winners and losers. As the American comic book sales fall, something has to replace it. And manga's right there. It's popular. And, I know my kids know kids who read manga. They don't know anybody who reads American comics. And the kids that my kids know who read manga are just casual readers. They're not fans, they're not geeks, they're not going to conventions or anything. They just like reading manga. They like reading it on their phone, they like reading it in books. And there you go.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, I think Chuck broke it down in a way that I think a lot of people feel the same way. I know several people that feel the same way about that. I know people that have stopped reading comic books altogether over the past 7 to 8 years. They're just done with the American comics. They get more, like Chuck said, they get more variety. They're getting better stories. They're not being told what to think, and they're just getting more pleasure out of the stuff that's coming out of Japan than anything that the big two, at least the big two, when we're talking about comics here, we're talking about Marvel and DC. Obviously, there, like Chuck said, there are some exceptions. We're not saying all or nothing. It's not 0 or 10, but there are, and there are smaller comic book companies here in the States that are doing excellent graphic novels. But we're really talking about the mainstream here. But yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with what Chuck had to say. What say you, Scott?
Well, I agree with Chuck. I if there is a story about a boy painting a fence, then I think that Mark Twain should write it, and I think it will go down in history as being one of the best novels ever. I think that there are stories for everyone, and when it breaks down to comic books or graphic storytelling, you can tell any story you want, and just make sure that you're doing it properly. You can tell a story about the abolition of slavery or the social plight of being a minority.
Absolutely.
Or being blasphemy, a heterosexual man. You can do all of these things in prose or film or graphic storytelling. Like, these are not exclusive to the mediums in which you are telling the stories. And I think that, if manga is wiping the floors with North American graphic storytelling, then I don't think it's an issue with I don't think it's an issue with manga. Manga?
Manga?
Mingus?
Dingus?
No, Mingus was a bass player. He was a really good bass player.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. So no, but I don't think that I think that the issue is with the North American storytelling, and I agree with him. One of my favorite graphic novels is, well, I have several that have nothing to do with superheroes. Blankets. Yeah. I love Mouse. Yeah. Like these are stories, and no matter how, again, we were talking about this in terms of the allegory and the couching within a fantastic storytelling style. I part of the reason why I enjoy The Boys is because it's a political satire about people who are in power.
Right. Yes.
And
I agree. Mm-hmm.
So I agree with it, and the underlying threat, not threat. Is threat too strong a word? I don't know. Let's finish our thought. The underlying thread is, are North American comic books currently propaganda?
Yes, I would say yes.
And
the only reason I say that is because just look at the people that are hiring to write these books.
Mm-hmm.
They're picking people out of activist channels, newspapers, magazines, to now be comic book writers. And I think to be a comic book writer, you can absolutely be an activist as a comic book writer, but there's an art to telling a story in a comic book that's different than telling people how to engage in a political discourse. They're two vastly different things. And I think what you're getting is you're getting perspective, right? You're getting one person's perspective with their activism, but like I said, which is fine, but the art form is lacking. So you're losing people that enjoy the art form for what it is instead of the activism, right? Also, many of those people do not know how to tell a story allegorically or metaphorically. They tell stories in blunt, factual type narrative, right? So you're basically you're taking away the art form and the mystique of these grand, beautiful stories, and basically turning them into these kind of hammers, right? That just kind of hammering away at a particular issue, or like Chuck said, they're using an avatar for their activism. They're using whatever book they're writing as an avatar for their activism. Like I said, I'm don't misquote me. I am all for.
I will.
I'm all for activism in comic books, but there's a way to tell a story in a comic book, and it's not necessarily the way you would write a magazine article or a book or a regular nonfiction book. And I think that's what the problem is.
I enjoy the presentation of art that makes me think about the allegory behind it without having that being hammered over my head.
Right. I agree 100%. And I think that's what drew me into comic books when I was young. And then kind of kept me around because these were great allegorical stories. People also often cite Stan Lee when they're talking about this issue, and Stan Lee. I wish I had the clip, and maybe I'll find it and I'll bring it back to the show at one point if it's something that we want to continue discussing. But they say, Stan Lee said that it's okay to use activism in our comic books, but they only clip out that one little part. They never play the rest of it where he says, but you never use it as a blunt instrument. You never use it to bash people over the head with it, because you will lose your audience that way. So
Well, and on a different vergent, like there was, and I'm gonna butcher and vaguely refer to it because I am not a smart man, but there was something about Michael Jordan and Air Jordans, like the Nike shoes, and someone argued with him at some point, and he said, well, you know what, conservatives buy shoes too.
Yeah,
like it doesn't, do not break down things into you're wrong, I'm right, because quite frankly, I can sit beside someone who is of a different political or sexual or any
right. Any of the things. And I can sit down beside them and watch When Harry Met Sally, and we're both going to have a good time. Yeah. I can sit down beside them and watch a Medea movie, and we're both going to have a good time. And it's not about that. It's about the story that is being presented in an entertaining way, and as long as it touches you in a human emotion way, because quite frankly, we're just a bunch of monkeys on a rock traveling through space at an incredible speed. That's exactly right. It harkens back to what we talked about in our mission statement at the top of the show. Don't let these things become tribal. I think when we let this tribalism and this me against you and you against me, and you're either with us or against us type of attitude, especially in this kind of in entertainment, which is so subjective, because art is so subjective anyways, that it really hinders the output of great entertainment, in my opinion. Anyways, I thought it was a really good topic to talk about today. Hearing Chuck's thoughts is not something you're going to hear from the majority of people in the business right now. One, maybe because they don't feel the same way, but I believe more likely that they're afraid of being completely wiped out of existence by the Twitter mob.
Does Chuck Dixon have fuck you money?
I don't know, but he seems to not give a shit. So yay for Chuck Dixon. No,
but it's not a matter of not giving a shit. I think for an artist or a creator to be able to speak on such a subject and say, you know what, I don't like being beaten over the head with your ideas, I just want to be entertained, is a brave statement. And that's a weird thing to say in this modern day and age when we advocate for freedoms.
It is very much so. So I applaud anytime anybody speaks out like that, especially when there's a mob of Twitter bots waiting to come after you.
Hey, shut up! I'm a Twitter bot. Leave me alone. It's how I make my money.
You are a Twitter bot.
I am a Twitter bot.
Before we go take some of your awesome comments and questions, there is one more thing. We've been promoting this, and believe me, Netflix isn't giving us any money, unfortunately. But
not yet.
I really thought this was a cool little experiment that Netflix was doing with the Fear Street 3-part movie, a trilogy of movies, all dropping on consecutive Fridays. I've been staying up to speed with it. I watched the first one, which was 1994. And then 1778 last week, and this week
1978. You weirdo! Why are you so dyslexic? 1978. You said 1778.
Did I? I said that before on the last show too. We talked. Well,
yeah, fair enough.
Because I don't know. Okay, well, anyways,
moving on.
This Friday, 1666. I got that one right. I am a little bit dyslexic, by the way. So when that happens, it's probably because I'm reading it wrong.
Well, I apologize for making fun.
No, that's fine.
Thanks.
So the trilogy ends at the beginning this Friday. Shady Side 1666, basically part 3. The origins of Sarah Fair's curse are finally revealed as history comes full circle on a night that challenges the lives of Shady Siders forever. So yay for that. We do have the trailer. They dropped today, so why don't we check that out, and then we'll take some questions. So, like we've said before, listen, are these the best horror movies ever made? Of course not. They're fun little weekend, afternoon cocktail. Let's watch cool little horror flick movies. But I do like the fact, like I said, I do like the kind of, I wouldn't call it a gimmick, but it's kind of an experiment to see how these kind of work. I like the fact that we get them every Friday for 3 weeks instead of waiting 3 months or who knows, a year in between these films. I thought that was cool. And I'm enjoying them so far. So I'm looking forward to 1666 on Friday. I'll probably watch it like I do every Sunday afternoon with a beer, and we'll see how that works out. I know that you did see the first one, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you have time to see the second one yet?
Not yet.
Will you watch the second one before you watch? Because I know 1666 is the one you've been looking forward to watching.
Yes.
Well, you will see the second one first.
No, I'm going to watch 1666, and then I'm going to watch 1978, and then I'm going to watch 1994. I appreciate that they've been presenting them backwards, but I want to see them sort of reverse Memento.
Oh, man. Okay. Of course you would want to do that. Because
I'm a contrarian.
You are. And why do anything, the easy way when you can do it, 10 times harder? Yeah, so that's a cool little Fear Street Part 3. Check it out on Friday or this weekend if you have time. And if you haven't seen the first two, they're decent. I did like the second one better than the first one. But what's cool is the lore travels from point A to what we're going to be point C here on Friday. The lore runs like a river right through it, which is cool.
Well, and I do enjoy the thought that it is an origin story at the end.
At the end, yeah.
So maybe I should rethink my bullshit stature.
Yes.
Maybe I should watch 1978 and then go to 1666. Maybe
I think
there are surprises.
There are.
Okay.
I think it would behoove you to watch them in order.
Ooh. It has been such a long time since I've heard someone actually say the word behoove in conversation. So I will watch them in order. You are a gentleman and a scholar, Stephen.
Thank you. I may not be able to read because of my dyslexia, but I do use very big words from time to time in conversation to make up for my shortcomings, as it were.
Well, yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's get over to the comments and see what the folks are saying today. Go ahead, you can take that one, buddy.
Well, I don't know. Apicists? Bin Sanine says, "Hi guys, can I have a request for Stephen Scotty? You may have a request, sir. Can you show the full design T-shirt you wear now with standing in full screen? That seems a little inappropriate. By the way, nice tees."
Okay, let's see. Yeah, there you go. What can we do full screen? Yeah, okay. So here's mine. Is the
Funko.
The Funko Cap 80 year cool little
That's
Funko.
A great shirt. That's a great shirt.
It's a good one. It came with a Funko box set that I had that I got. So
nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let me see if I can do this for you now. Let's see. We'll go.
Well, it's not really a big deal. Like if you've seen Spider-Man, it's basically just a print of the Spider-Man. It's just Spider-Man, like printed on a T-shirt. I'm wearing a Spider-Man T-shirt.
Awesome. No,
I think so. Hey, I think it's a great shirt, but there's nothing special about it.
No, but thanks for asking, and that's one thing I do like is wearing nerdy T-shirts. So if you enjoy that, we'll show them off when we can.
Well, and also if you have any nerdy T-shirts, please send them to us. They'd be great.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
P.O. Box Fantasmagorium .org.
Just contact us through YouTube, and we'll get back to you right away.
Well, Todd Michael seems to think that I am microaggressing. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, a little smiley face. Oh, it's a tongue out face. So he's making fun of you, which I like to do on a regular basis.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see, Todd Michael.
Don't you realize that Star Trek was only created in 2009? I do. It was created by Chris Hemsworth.
How can you not know this?
How can you not know this?
I know. Yeah, absolutely.
Star Trek House in Order will be out in 2025. You know what? I'm looking for Star Trek House Party, starring Kid and Play.
Oh, yes. The very talented Oscar Award nominated kid. Well, maybe not.
Todd Michael says, We Quit Comes Comics around 2008 or so. Anyway,
I think we
but
get
for us,
comics, yeah.
But for us, it was a value proposition. Marvel and DC reads would take maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and that is just a waste of $3.99 per book. We never looked back. Well, I miss those days. I miss thumbing through. Like, I remember reading the Infinity Gauntlet.
The Gauntlet, yeah.
Like, I remember that cover where it was Thanos on the cover, and he was like, "Come and get me." Mm-hmm. And it was one of the most epic books, and they wiped out the entire Marvel universe. Right. Thanos killed them. Yeah. And it was like, it blew my mind. And it took 2 to 3 minutes to plow through that book. But it took me about 2 hours to read it 25 times.
If I may cut in, and this, I know this isn't a Loki review show, but in episode 5, did you notice the Thanos copter?
I did.
Okay, awesome. I thought that was awesome to see the Thanos helicopter. It's a nerdy thing from not only the comics but the show as well.
I really enjoyed the Throg.
Yeah, Throg. Yeah.
Well, and also Richard E. Grant is old Loki.
No, awesome, completely awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, right. Todd Michael continues. I also purge 18,000 back issues around the same time. Though, so when I got out of comics, I really got out of comics. Well, and also he continues in parentheses. Now, if I can only purge the Transformers, no, don't purge your Transformers. Hold them; they are trophies. Todd Michael says, "You want questions? Okay, who do you ship?" Oh well. My current ship, I would like to see some hardcore pornography between Loki and Sylvie.
God, that's so weird. Right?
Well, why?
It's so self-masturbatory. Weird.
Well, every
masturbatory
is self.
Well, I guess, but I mean, you bang yourself? I don't know. I just can't get there.
Well, then who's yours? Who's yours, you sexual tyrannosaur?
I don't know.
You don't have a ship? You don't want to see two people fuck?
On Loki?
No, in general. It's not a Loki question. It's a general question of who do you want to put together in a relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be X-rated.
So shipping just in general, or do we think Todd Michael's talking about when we were talking about ships? You just want ships in Star Trek?
No, just anything. Any two characters within their own universes.
Oh, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know.
You got nothing?
I just don't have anything.
I've always been a fan of Tony Stark and Gamora. That would be good.
Huh.
And that was presented in the pages of Marvel Comics before they decided to be PG. But, there are so many characters that I would like to. Do I have any, I don't know. I'm trying to think of two dudes or two chicks that should get together.
Well, the one that everybody wanted, and of course I wanted, was Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, but that happened. So,
but I would No, but that's a good answer. Like, and you're more of a DC guy than I am, but that is certainly, I would love to see that. But that's also, that's not like a ship. That's already been.
Yeah, it's already been done. It's
like,
I don't know. It's something I'd
imagining-
have to put my mind to. I don't. My mind doesn't naturally just go there all the time. I know a lot of people like, oh, we shipped this, like in television shows and shit. I could give a fuck. I just want to see what's being presented to me, and maybe that's a shortcoming on my of my imagination. I don't know, but it just doesn't ever really enter the equation for me. If it happens, great. I don't pine away for shit like that.
Well, okay. So what was Jamie Lee Curtis's character's name in Halloween?
Oh God, put me on the spot like that. Don't put me on the spot like that.
So anyway, my answer.
Why did that make any difference? What the hell her name was? In the context of the question.
Because so
except
Heather
to put me on the
Lang-
spot and show how fucking dumb I am. Thank you, Scotty.
You're not dumb. I didn't mean to do that. I'm so sorry. I'm saying Heather Langenkamp from Nightmare on Elm Street, right. And Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween. I want them to get married.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm down with that.
Well, I hope they are as well.
I'd like to see them get down.
Man, my comments are full of the spelling errors today, but it's not a big deal. It's not.
That's okay. I can't read them anyways.
It doesn't matter. Check your tips.
Hey, fucking hey, buddy. I will.
Just the tips.
Just a tip. Did I? Oh, I did something wrong. Here we go. There you go.
Oh, Gundle! Thank you, sir, for showing up. The Terminator and Sarah Connor should ship on by the night. Oh, quite frankly, I am afraid of, oh my. Okay, so here's a question, and thank you, Gundle. I apologize for getting blue. Do you think that the Terminator has a robot penis, or is it just a regular penis?
Who are you asking? Are you asking me?
You! I'm asking you. Gundle can't respond.
Well, he can respond in the comments.
In the comments, yes. But I'm asking you specifically. Do you think that there is a robot in the penis, or do you think that it is just a regular flesh and blood penis? Or here's a third option: does a Terminator have a penis?
Ooh, I think. I think no. I'm going to say no. Terminator does not have a penis.
So he's as anatomically correct as a Ken doll.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on.
That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Well, then Sarah Connor is going to be very disappointed when when they attempt romance.
Well, I think what she needs to do is screw the Terminator, call up Data, because Data is fully functional.
He's programmed
and
with
skilled.
multiple techniques.
Okay.
Her name was Lori.
Laurie Stroud.
Todd Michael.
Laurie Stroud, right? Yeah.
Lori.
I'll get there. I just wanted to give Scotty a little razz for him putting me on.
Well, no, but I didn't know, and so thank you, Todd Michael. So Lori.
Well, sometimes you know, but you ask the question anyway. You sly fox.
Well, you know what, dude? I've never seen Halloween.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, well, no wonder you didn't know. I didn't know. I thought you were having a go.
No.
Don't look at that. We learn something new every day, don't we?
Well, not me. I try not to.
Okay. Here we go. Look at
that. Is that it? We're done?
No, we do have a tip.
Hey,
here.
Who's Luke?
I don't know, but let's go to let's go to this one.
To the tip.
Yeah, tip.
Can't wait. Can't wait for you to get enough tips to produce. To Steve Foley, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. Oh, I will wear a dress. and the Phantasmagorium of the traveling pants. I will wear pants. And also, thank you, Luke. Hey guys, I have requested for Steve and Scott, question mark. Can you show? Oh, so that was the whole thing. Yeah, no, sorry, guy. Sorry, Luke.
Yes. Yeah,
It's
we did that.
literally just Spider-Man's costume printed on a shirt.
Did Todd Michael, did you actually put your name in the tip jar as Pollock of procrastination? If
That's
you did,
racist.
that's racist. But it's pretty fucking awesome too, dude.
It is really awesome.
So kudos and cheers to you, sir. You're awesome. And thanks for coming by and being a fan. We appreciate it. We really do.
And thank you, Luke. I'm sorry that I wasn't more helpful.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. I think he got a good look at I think both shirts, and we got to see what the
well, you
what that
even
was all about.
stood up. I think
I
you're
did.
fine.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I
But thank
I'm
you
lazy.
for the tip, and we really appreciate it. I promise I will find a way to do this stream elements thing better. We are
I like it.
Yeah, we're a little bit limited on what we can do here with our StreamYards, but hopefully, you got the gist.
It's pronounced guest.
No, it is not. Moving on.
Are
Wanna
we
read the
done
next
here?
one?
Can I go? I gotta
No.
go.
Read the next one.
Okay. Oh, what? We got something else.
We have more comments.
Gundle's here.
Yeah.
We know the Terminator has a human wang because biker chicks checked. That is true because biker chicks checked him out when walking around naked. It is absolutely true. So, Steve,
Okay.
I would appreciate it if you stood corrected.
I stand corrected because
Thank you.
You're right. You're absolutely 100% right. They did
And
check
not
him out.
not only that, but the biker waitress was impressed.
Right.
So not only are Terminators anatomically correct, but they are impressively so.
Very well hung. Okay, so in that case, since that is the case, I will go with robotics inside of the flesh.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're gonna it makes sense.
That's my
Although we've seen the endoskeleton, and there hasn't been I don't know why this is my robotic penis movement, but we've seen the endoskeleton, and there hasn't been so I'm gonna say that there are no robot mechanics within the peni of the Terminators.
Oh, so
Todd Michael says
it's all show and no go.
Well, no, I'm not saying that the Terminator can't get a hard on. I'm just saying
how
it doesn't.
would functionally, how would that work?
Same way that a Terminator can bleed. There must be a circulatory system.
Okay. Well, we'll ponder that for another day.
They sweat. They grow hair. Bad breath. Everything. I'm sure that they can get a boner if required by the mission. Todd Michael continues, well, the outer flesh body had an Austrian doing it. The robot, not so much. There is no point to it. And Todd Michael, I have to disagree if it was a requirement of the mission to achieve their goal, I would say that the Terminator can do whatever they want. I would assume that the lady Terminator from Terminator 3 would be capable of being moist.
Very interesting.
Well, is it?
And it's very interesting. It's very interesting in an I don't give a shit kind of way.
Yeah, well, I am the Pollock of procrastination, says Todd Michael. And I am the Terminator of sexual thought.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. Pollock means Polish. It's a word for a Polish man. No, I understand. Yes, my grandmother was Finnish. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm finished.
Oh boy, yeah, we need to end this show pretty soon, don't we?
Is it my fault?
It is getting to be
Okay.
a little long-winded. No, we're good. Gundal's back.
Well, it's up to you.
Oh, I think he says Hai Wang is so big it doesn't need to be erect. Oh, his Wang. Okay. Oh yeah, and that's he corrects himself saying his. Okay. So I guess it's just a dangly member.
I have met Gundal's lovers, and so
I don't think he's talking about himself. He's talking about the Terminator, right? Okay.
Well, that's what his
called,
lovers called him.
Oh, they called him the Terminator. Well, Jesus.
Well,
okay.
it's because of anyway. You already said I was going long and long-winded,
No,
and being a
it's
little
fine.
blue.
It's fine. We just hey, we go where the chat takes us. You know?
Yeah.
And it went off the rails there a little bit. Just a
Well,
little bit.
I just didn't.
A detour. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. I think that'll do it for us today, Scott. Oh, well, one more.
Yes.
One in at the last minute here.
Gundal Whittlebaum says, "Dude has a bazooka penis, obviously," and I agree.
Yeah.
If like the Terminator needs
a bazooka penis.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm
Anyway.
okay. I'm sold. 100%.
I'm glad that we could start this episode and show having a conversation about the inclusivity about everybody and not hating on anything, and then we can end it on Terminator penis.
On Terminator's bazooka penis.
I am bouncing on a T-800 dick.
100% erect, sir. I mean, correct, sir. Later, nerds. Stay cool.
All right,
later,
let's
buddy.
get out of here.
We're gonna go. It's been a fantastic show. Thank you very much, Scotty. Once again, I love doing these shows with you.
I love doing these shows with you, man. This is great. I'm having such
We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. So for Scotty R37, I am Steve Foley, and have a great day, everybody.
See you guys.